Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HP Podcast, episode number 330. I'm Ben, and with me here today are, I usually say beautiful boys. I'm going to say magnificent spectacles of men, Dave and Brandon. Dave, how you doing?
I'm good. I like to think of Brandon as more of a specimen. Than
a spectacle?
An Adonis. The Adonis of northwestern Pennsylvania, as it were. The hottest thing coming out of the Alleghenies,
He's kind of a mecca of male testosterone.
Please.
If you've ever been around Brandon, which I know some of you in the Discord and the chat have, he just bleeds sort of mahogany teakwood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Aura farming. That's what I'm doing right now. Aura farming.
He bleeds that when he gets a little too much sun and turns very red.
Bright red. Yeah.
Bright red. Hello, Brandon.
What's up, guys?
How are you, you piece of shit?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm good every day. You know that.
That's not true.
Who says it isn't?
In the last year, you started off like 30 of these podcasts saying, I wish I were dead in some way, shape, or form.
Existential dread is different than like pure sadness, I think.
Okay, that's fair.
But no, I'm doing okay today. I typically don't have Tuesdays off, but I had today off, and I did a whole lot of nothing today.
I saw you, I had Steam open on my computer, and just like the little alert kept popping up that you were playing stuff. Or maybe it was Discord. Like you were playing Fortnite. And
yeah, I've been playing all kinds of stupid shit the past couple days, so... No, but it's been good. It's been good. We creep ever closer to the most American holiday that's ever existed.
Yeah.
The 4th of July is approaching. Not next month, but the month after that. And so we have to start. Now's the time.
I was wondering if you thought it was next week for a minute there, honestly.
No. So I don't know if this starts happening. The reason I'm saying we're going to start to know about it is because in our town where Ben and I live,
it's all of America, by the way.
You should begin to expect fireworks the month beforehand, randomly, at any time, day or night, to start to go off.
And then for a month after as well.
You say, Brendan, how do you know these aren't gunshots? I don't. But I think they're fireworks. And even if they were gunshots, I mean, it's like 6 in one, half dozen in the other. They're both dangerous in a different way. I've seen men hold fireworks in their hands turned to crab claws. So, like, they're both dangerous is what I'm trying to say. But we're soon approaching the time where at any moment there could be explosions going on outside.
Brandon, I don't want to flame either of us too badly.
Please.
And I know that these are not the types of fireworks you're talking about, but you and I have held fireworks in our hands and shot them at each other before.
Yeah.
They were little Roman candles, but like still we did it.
It's the risk you take when holding a firework.
Exactly.
Much like the risk you take every day getting into your automobile and driving down the road. We all take risks. Some we don't think are risks, but they are.
Well, would you say, though, that they're different kinds of risk, not only from the level of danger, but also everything else, but mostly from the idea that, like, in order for you to get to your job, the only practical way to do so is by getting into an automobile, specifically your automobile. But holding Roman candles and shooting them at each other is a totally unnecessary risk.
If the end is the same, do the means even matter?
I think they do, but that's a question philosophers have pondered for a long time.
I don't know. If we get to the same spot, I don't think it matters much. But yeah, if we want to go on raw stats, we could look up failure rates of fireworks to automobile crashes per day.
Per capita.
And I think you would find the numbers to be staggering. I think you would find them to be truly staggering.
I made a mistake back last year. My kids flew for the first time. They were at the time 10 and 8. And my youngest was sitting next to me, and he was really excited, but also scared. And when we were taking off, he was like, thought it was awesome and also was terrified. And then like when you get up in the air and then the plane turns, he was freaked out because the plane turned and I didn't warn him ahead of time. And I was explaining to him, like, because he wasn't scared at all before that. And I was explaining to him, like, you know, this is the case, yada, yada. Yeah, sometimes you hear trains outside, you see stuff about plane crashes on the news, but the reason it's on the news is because it's not very common. And you're actually statistically safer, like I was explaining, that you're statistically safer in a plane than you are in a car. You're much more likely to get in a car crash. And he was like, I've been in a car crash. What if I get in another car crash? I was like, I failed.
It's
the logic is sound, though.
Yeah. It's probably more likely for that to happen a second time than to get into one plane crash.
Yeah.
But he's like, Dad, when does the weird feeling of like, oh, I might die, and the weird feeling of being in like a metal tube infinitely high up in the sky going 300 to 400 miles per hour with a million working parts working in tandem from someone you don't know? And you're like, well, son, that fear never quite goes away. Yeah. It's always kind of freaky. Humans, I don't think we're a special kind.
My cousin used to work at a machine shop that worked on roller coaster parts, amongst many other things. And my cousin, he's dead now. That's what I'm saying. Was not the most like reliable person, in my opinion. Like, he's a good guy, heart as big as the world, but just like, I don't really know if I want him working on like stuff I'm on. And he worked on parts for the roller coaster, the Son of Beast, which was at Kings Island in Ohio. It was the sequel to the Beast, which is one of my favorite roller coasters in the world. And I rode Son of Beast multiple times, but I could never stop shaking the feeling that Cousin Joe worked on this. And I loved him, but I also knew some of his handiwork in the past. It's hard when you grow up with a guy to really trust their handiwork on something that you're taking your life in. That ride shut down a couple years later for giving too many people whiplash and concussions and everything else. So take that with what you will. But your life is never really safe.
Was it a wooden coaster?
So it was the only wooden roller coaster with a loop, but the loop was made out of metal. The rest of it was wooden. Gotcha. The Beast, I don't know if it still is. I think it still is the longest wooden roller coaster, continuous wooden roller coaster. There's a lot of other records it holds. It's a great ride, but it beats the crap out of your brains, especially now that it's like old, really old. It's a great ride, though. I'd encourage everyone to check it out if you like wooden coasters. Brandon doesn't like coasters at all, so this is ringing hollow to him. But If you like wooden roller coasters, the Beast at Kings Island in Ohio is top notch.
Brandon, you don't like roller coasters?
No. It's funny. Dustin and I have talked about this a lot. He's tried to get me on the boat, so to speak. And I might be coming around to it a little bit. But he said, I'm surprised, Brandon, even at your most willing to accept death, that's how we'll put that. It seemed like you would be more apt to like, and I'm like, I'm not afraid to die. That isn't it. I just don't like it. I'm like afraid of it. You know what I mean? And I'm man enough to admit that. It's just not fun to me. It's a terrifying feeling in the bad way. But that being said, the next time I go on a coaster, the next time I go to an amusement park, I think I will kind of like potentially take a bit of a plunge.
I'll say when I was younger in the height of my roller coaster days, whenever I was on a roller coaster, my eyes would be closed and I was always scared of them. Like I'd go on them, but I was scared of them. And then one day I opened my eyes and I enjoyed it so much more. Like I felt like a thrill, like seeing everything around you and being up that high in the air. So that helped me a lot. I mean, you're pert near a 30-year-old man. So, I mean, it's okay if you don't have to like roller coasters anymore, you know?
I know, but
that helped me.
Sometimes
isn't the fear part of what makes it fun, though?
To some people, fear is fun. But I think it's like a lack of control as well. Like I desire control in excess, even in things that I can't control, which is hard for me. Like if I were on a motorbike going the same speed, fine. Even if it's more statistically like 1,000,000 times more dangerous to be on a motorbike going 80 miles per hour, I've done that no problem. Didn't even think twice about it. Didn't even blink. I don't know. I will conquer this fear.
This comes from the man who one time, whether jokingly or not, I still have no idea, advocated that we smoke salvia, which we did not, but he really wanted to. So salvia is less intimidating than roller coasters, apparently.
It is. Sometimes you have to ride the lightning.
Yeah. Understandable.
Sometimes you have to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, David. Sometimes you just have to do it to get it out of your system.
Preach, sister.
Thanks, Queen.
This is the HP Podcast. We talk about roller coasters and video games from time to time. If you can imagine it, we actually have a way where you can support us financially over at patreon.com/handsomephantom. A bunch of you are over there already. We appreciate that. You can do so for as little as $1 a month. Get ad-free early access to the show. Support us. Those are the main benefits. I'm just going to be real with you. That's pretty much it. That's what you get. You can also join our Discord, excuse me, at handsomephantom.com/Discord. The main benefits there are you get to hang out with us and a bunch of other people just like us. Well, just like you. That we like to hang out with in Discord. How's that? handsomephantom.com/Discord. No purchase necessary to be a part of that. And really, we do have some great conversations in there, as well as some gentle prodding at each other, if I may say so myself. Boys, would you like to talk about the video game situation?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's start with number 1. The PlayStation Stars program is coming to a close. This comes from the official PlayStation blog, and it says qualifying points redeemable until November of 2026. So keep that in mind. At Sony Interactive, we're always experimenting with new and exciting ways to bring our community of players together to share the joys of gaming and create lasting memories. That's why 3 years ago, we created PlayStation Stars, a loyalty program to celebrate our players. The unique program includes playing games to earn rewards, including our unique digital collectibles that pay homage to incredible games and our PlayStation legacy. The program has helped foster a deeper connection with fans around the world. Since launching the program, we've learned a lot from evaluating the types of activities our players respond to, and as a company, we are always evolving with player and industry trends. Through this evaluation, we have decided to refocus our efforts and will be winding down the current version of PlayStation Stars. We will continue to evaluate our key findings from this program and are looking into ways to build upon these learnings. Starting today, this is a few days ago, PlayStation Stars will no longer accept new members for this version of the program. If members choose to cancel their PlayStation Stars membership starting today, it will not be possible to rejoin, and members will lose all earned points. Current PlayStation Stars members can still earn digital collectibles, points, and level up their status until July 23rd. After this date, there will be no new PlayStation Stars campaigns available or any additional rewards or status benefits to earn. This version of the PlayStation Stars program will fully end on November 2nd, 2026, and current PlayStation Stars members can continue to redeem points as long as their points don't expire before then. We also want to let you know that players in the PlayStation Stars members can still access their digital collectibles even after these changes take place. So, boys, PlayStation went through a long list of why this program has been so great and how it's encouraged closer community, and then they decided to let us know they're canceling it. I don't know about you guys. I haven't really taken a lot of advantage of PlayStation Stars, mostly because I don't play PlayStation that often, and I also don't buy a lot of things digitally. But there are many people that I know who have found great value in this program. And I'm just curious what you guys think, one, about the program going away, about the reasons maybe why, and about potential future opportunities. Brandon, let's start with you. You're muted.
I also have kind of not really been playing on PlayStation too much, but even when I was, this was a program that was introduced July 14th, 2022, and I haven't utilized it a single time since it's been introduced. So I'm thinking it's a good time to get on board. But yeah, I really think the sticking point of this is that they saw low engagement. I don't really see any other reason for them to get rid of it other than it not being utilized very much, or up to their standards. The idea of this is for people to buy directly from your ecosystem and to not have to go through a Walmart, a GameStop, where there is some profit sharing there. The idea is for Sony to draw in your money directly, and for you to get a little chunk of that back. So I'm assuming that in the almost 3 years that this program has been around, it really wasn't a return on investment, and there was more money being pumped into it than seemed reasonable to continue it.
Brandon, on that point real quick, aside from all the other possible costs and everything, early on, I think there was a way to manipulate the program and get things for free that you shouldn't have been able to, but I don't remember that full context, but that is part of it as well. Yeah.
Well, even so, I mean, these digital collectibles, right? There is some money being pumped into this. Some money is going into it somewhere, and it's being hosted somewhere. So, yeah, I mean, even though it's cool, me personally, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm so numb to the idea of rewards programs because I could have a reward program for every gas station I go to. I could have a reward program for every restaurant I go to. And I don't think it's a great way to bring people into your product anymore because it's so abundant, almost in excess. It's like spam email. Everywhere I go, they're asking me if I want to sign up for something. And albeit if PlayStation was something I bought something on digitally a lot, maybe I would consider that. But even then, I think twice. Like, I've been going to Chipotle for years, and just in the past year have I signed up for their rewards because I'm like, wow, how much money did I miss out on? And I know I'm the outlier. I know I'm a moron for doing that. But the reality is that for me, I become numb and like almost blind to these sort of things, even if I know they exist. I mean, we've talked about stars many times, but Dave, you've had more direct experience with it, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a couple of people in our chat saying they've redeem for like $20-$30. I'm the same way. Like I since this program was rolled out in Canada, every once in a while I would check my points balance and flip it for like a $5 store credit. I've done that a handful of times. So yeah, I kind of wonder, like I'm just kind of looking at it now, and there's digital collectibles, PlayStation Store rewards, which are just games that you can get, and then there's wallet funds. I wonder if they saw that the majority of users were just using it for wallet funds when they had hoped they were going to see a lot more people redeem for the other two reward types. And the digital collectibles, like they're a Deacon St. John enamel pin. It's a digital enamel pin. Polygon Man enamel pin. Like it's just all these things. I assume there's people out there who are interested in these things, but are these just NFTs? Because they're all like limited time things. Like they go away. I guess that's part of the draw. I understand there's a collectible culture, but is there a digital one? And maybe, the user base spoke and kind of said, this is not what we want. And I guess Sony was hoping that more people would be interested in these things. It did kind of start around the time of the NFT boom that fizzled out pretty quick. But I don't know. My frustration is that they've announced the end of this program and they haven't announced a replacement. Sometimes you see like, programs sort of get sunset and they'll say this, we're changing the program to do this, this, and this, and they aren't doing that. And Nintendo recently shut down its coins program. So I don't like that we're losing these things, because I feel that I'm going to be entitled for a second here, but I feel like I spend enough money in Sony's environment to warrant some sort of reward. And this for me was enough. So I'm unfortunately going to be a little bit pessimistic and say I don't see anything coming back for a while, which sucks, because I think, the amount of money that most gamers spend on your storefront, there should be something there. So I don't know. This kind of sucks, but I think most people were just flipping their points for money.
Yeah, PlayStation is going away. Nintendo's is gone or going away, and Xbox's has changed dramatically. I think you earn many less points than you used to. I still think, let's say they were all intact right now, I still think the Xbox's is the best as far as how you could earn points and how you could redeem them and for what amounts and everything. But yeah, it's an interesting study. I don't know if it's like they were like, oh, turns out this didn't actually increase sales or anything, or if it was these people didn't redeem the right things that we expected them to, or what. Like sometimes it was like, here's a collectible. If you play one of these 3 games this month, you can get this collectible. And it was like, I don't really want that collectible, but I literally have that game installed already. I'll boot it up and get it. And I would do that. And sometimes it was like, okay, maybe I just have it on the back end, or like I have it, excuse me, on my account, or I have the disc or whatever, and I just pop it in. It takes me all of 1 minute, and then I forget about it and get that collectible. I'm never going to look at those collectibles, and the Shuhei Yoshida bobblehead is really cool, but I would prefer a physical one than one that I never go into my library and look at them. But as far as the redeeming games with points, I think that was a cool opportunity. Getting the wallet funds was a cool opportunity. Yeah, I just have to assume this is the basic assumption is that whatever it wasn't profitable for them in however way they were measuring that. So I don't have anything else to say about that. Sucks that it's going away for those who utilized it. Doesn't affect me personally, but of course, anytime options are taken away after they've been given, it sucks. Let's move on to number 2. A live-action film adaptation of Elden Ring has been announced. This comes from an official press release from Bandai Namco and A24. Bandai Namco Entertainment and A24 today announced, this is a few days ago, announced their collaboration with writer and director Alex Garland for a live-action film adaptation of From Software's world-renowned video game Elden Ring. It goes into a whole bunch of backstory about Elden Ring that most likely people in our audience don't need. But let me move on to... It doesn't actually say anything more about the actual game or movie. It just says that it's coming. It's going to happen. That's really it. Boys, you're both big Elden Ring fans. Dave, I know you were literally just watching a stream of it and mentioned you wanted to replay it right before we started. Give me your take.
Yeah, I look at this and I look at Expedition 33, which also it was recently announced that the film rights have been signed over. That doesn't mean a film's going to be made, but it means, the wheels are in motion. So
I'm pretty sure that happened, by the way, before the game ever released by like months.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. I don't know where we stand with video game movies. I feel like things have started to improve, but I do feel like these two in particular could really right the ship when it comes to how we view video game movies. And I'm looking at Alex Garland. I recognize the name, but just kind of looking at some of his the films he's worked on, Civil War, Ex Machina, 28 Days Later, and 28, the other 28 Days movie. So I see those films and I think, okay, I can see that. That's a good fit. So yeah, I mean, they just got to do it right. And when I think about video game movies and how you can do them right and how they've been done wrong, they have to just be very loyal to the source material. And what that means to me is like you have to work with the creatives who made the game. And who was it? Del Toro that worked on Elden? Who was the famed guy that helped them write?
George R. R. Martin.
Oh, George R. R. Martin. So, I mean, I don't know if they can include him somehow, but probably more, some of the creatives at From Software, but like make sure they're involved and really kind of be true to the source material. Cause that's what made Elden Ring so appealing to kind of come over into the film world. So if they try to put their own spin on it or make it like appeal to the masses, that's just the wrong way to go. If you're making a movie about Elden Ring, this game sold millions and millions of copies. People will show up to watch your movie that are interested in the series already. Don't try to get new people on board. Just be true to the source material. And I don't know, Brandon, who's your Ashen one? I'm thinking Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I see you. I don't know about the Ashen one. I'm kind of hoping no big name actors are in it at all, to be honest with you.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I will actually commit seppuku. It's really hard to do something like this because the story of Elden Ring is incredibly convoluted in a lot of ways and obtuse. So I think it will be a difficult adaptation. I have the utmost faith in A24 and more specifically Alex Garland. I've not personally watched Ex Machina, but I've been recommended it many, 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 many times. Annihilation is one of my favorite movies of all time. Men, even though it was one of the strangest movies I've ever watched, I feel like that movie is very unique and beautifully done in a specific way. I, as a man watching that movie, had a very different perspective. I desperately want to watch that movie with a woman because I want to see her take on it. It's very, if you watch the movie, you'll see what I mean. I felt tense as a man watching that movie, so I cannot imagine how tense you would feel as a woman watching that movie.
Brandon just wants to watch a movie with a woman. It doesn't really matter what it is.
I mean, sure, yeah, what guy doesn't? But I did watch part of Civil War. I got way too drunk at the brewery beforehand and fell asleep about halfway through. Was not the fault of the movie. I had way too much fear. But also, do not forget, in his catalog, I've not watched any of the other ones. I've not watched 28 Days Later, even though it's been recommended to me, and I love horror movies. Dread. Dread is an amazing movie, and I will fight anybody on this. I think Dread's a fantastic movie, and I wish they would have continued with that. But I have the utmost faith. What I'm trying to say is that even though this is an obtuse story, it is, and it says in the press release that it's going to be under the supervision of Miyazaki, which I have also the utmost faith in. So we have three things going for it. We have A24, which by caliber usually puts out decent stuff, even if I don't necessarily like it as much. We have a good director, and we have supervision from the people that made the game. The number one guy that made the game. So, no Radic, I've not watched Marley and Me. Yeah, so that's where I kind of sit with this. we have some people in chat saying he kind of got washed up after Annihilation. I don't necessarily agree with that at all. I think this guy is incredibly talented, and I am very pleased with the directorial pick in this case. So we've had some good and we've had some bad. I was feeling really high on The Last of Us stuff, and I still think the second season of The Last of Us is divisive in a lot of ways, just like the game was, and a lot of people were upset. But my takeaway from all of this is that even if you're upset with something like The Last of Us not being as good as you had hoped, if anything comes close to the quality of that, the point being, we're getting good quality video game stuff now, okay? And all of the writing on the wall is saying to me that this is going to be good. So I'm not going to blindly follow, and regardless, I'll still probably be there day one when it releases. But I have high hopes. I really do.
I don't have a lot to add. I think it'd be cool. I don't really know what the story is going to be because I don't really understand the story of Elden Ring, as many people have said. That's okay. I don't need to. Hopefully they don't do like this is set in the world of Elden Ring, but we're doing our own new story, because that sucks. But I just want to take a little time to go through Alex Garland's IMDb page here. Just, that's the important. If there's anything I like almost as much as talking about video games, it's movies and TV. So writer, I'm going to just go through. Okay, The Beach, never read it. 28 Days Later, great. Next thing I've seen or experienced, Ex Machina, great. Annihilation, fantastic.
So
Devs, good. Very, very good. Men, no. Civil War, pretty good. I had a few little problems with it, but it was more on the technical side than on the story side. Warfare, I just watched it. Very, very good. It's written by him, but also it's like supposed to be very true to the actual events. So
is it
did
like
he
very
really write it?
Is it like USA propaganda?
I don't think so. I mean, you could say it is, I guess, if you think a movie about soldiers in a war zone is USA propaganda, then sure, but there's no like haha root USA or anything.
Okay. Because I was considering watching that, but I really am like,
Wait, which thing are you talking about?
Warfare.
Civil War or Warfare?
Warfare.
It's just, I mean, again, it's about U.S. soldiers, but it's really just like an account of what happened in this one particular battle.
It doesn't like hoorah pound his chest.
I didn't get that from it, but I'm also very American, so maybe somebody else would have a different interpretation, I suppose. But I'm pretty sensitive to that stuff. By the way, Dave, I watched Warfare in the hotel the night you left Boston. I was lonely and needed to watch a movie. That's all. Dread, as Brandon said, very good.
So
28 weeks later, very good. And that's about it. So a little defense of Alex Garland there. Not that he needs it, but Men's the only big miss for me. And maybe I just don't have the right gender perspective, but I just didn't think it was a very good movie on top of not understanding it very well. So I got to read the feedback. Warfare and Civil War are both apolitical from what I've heard about them being apolitical bothered and them being from what I've heard and them being apolitical bothered people. So he's saying the people he knows who would be offended by politics were not offended, I think is what he's saying. Yeah. Okay, cool. Good luck, Elden Ring at the theater. Next one. Onimusha 2 Remaster faces backlash for reported minor censorship changes. This comes from Twisted Voxel, and it says, the remaster of Capcom's action-adventure game Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is facing backlash over minor changes due to censorship. With today's launch, and this is a few days ago, fans are reporting that Capcom has made some changes from the original in the name of censorship. More specifically, they're expressing dissatisfaction with the changes made to the outfit of one of the game's main characters. Read ahead. Okay, we're going to read ahead. As seen below, the censorship in the new version of Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is mainly applied to Oyu's outfit, which is now far less revealing. The remaster has her wearing black attire under her coat, hiding the partial nudity seen in the original. I don't feel like I need to continue to read all of this. Maybe I can show a picture. I'll figure that out. Dave, talk to me.
Weird story. First of all, my only real exposure to the Onimusha series was Onimusha 3 Demon Siege, avec Jean Reno. You all remember that one. Shout out for the best cinematic trailer of the early 2000s. I don't know if you guys remember. There was the trailer for that got me hooked, and it was just a cinematic thing. But I remember really enjoying that game. Anyways, I'm kind of conflicted on this one because this is just how these kind of games, especially ones coming out of Japan, designed female characters in 2002. So I feel like if you're going to remaster a game, and that's key here, this isn't a remake, it's a remaster. I feel like the fans who you're making this for, you're not making this to bring new people into the Onimusha series, is to be true to the source material, just like I said with the Elden Ring thing. So, and the thing is this is such a subtle change that it's almost like you're trying to hide the fact. Can you zoom in a little bit more, Ben? Yeah, there we go. Like, it's so
I think the
subtle.
change is mostly like around here.
Yeah. It's so subtle that it's almost like, what's the point of doing it? Like, why don't you just like close the jacket altogether or just leave it as is? And I don't know. Part of me is like, this is how they did it in 2002 and things have kind of changed 20 years later. But at the same time, I know that a little game called, oh my God, I can't remember. I wrote it down here. Jesus Christ, Stellar Blade came out last year. And I'm like, that's a game that leaned into this sort of character design. So it's like, things haven't changed that much. So I don't know. I just feel like the developers almost tried to pull a fast one on their fans. And when you're updating a game like this in a slight way, like, you don't need to do that. So it's just, I think they deserve some of the backlash they're getting. Again, with Stellar Blade, we saw some, similar backlash with this kind of censorship. So it's either sexual or it isn't. Don't try to sugarcoat it. And again, this is a remaster of a game from 20 years ago. Just leave it as is. Make it look a little bit better, but don't start changing stuff. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Brandon.
Yeah, so I saw someone in Walmart that was wearing the picture on the left. So my my argument for this even more so is that you say you have something like this in 2002, right? I would say that generally the standards for what is permissible to wear in public has gotten more revealing as time has went on. So that's what perplexes me about this even more. Is to go back and to then increase it, like I can't practically see someone's butthole on Instagram without it getting censored, is crazy to me. But it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really understand it. I just think it's more work for no reason. But I also think that whenever people are kind of redoing these things, you got to really consider how sacred the original text, so to speak, of these games is to a lot of these people. When you're changing things about the controls or changing things about the look, I mean, you got to expect there to be some sort of uprising, some sort of, resistance to this sort of thing. And to change something that seemingly isn't really that big of a deal, and to be quite honest, I mean, it's not that big of a deal that they did change it. At the end of the day, I've not played this game, and I don't know how much you see this character, but it isn't a big deal either way. It just seems silly to me to go through the effort when this sort of outfit, pre-censorship, is more acceptable in 2025 than it's ever been in 2002. So
just think about 2002, Brandon, seeing this though.
Yeah, I mean, it would have awoken something in me that's been, but I was in second grade. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems silly, and
Here's my thoughts on this. I mostly, almost entirely echo what you guys say. I think the fact that it's a remaster instead of a remake, it's like, okay, then remaster it, don't change it. I think, excuse me, our standards for wanting to censor things in 2025 are a little weird. Why we make changes and stuff like that. I am appreciative. Like, it bugs me when they make weird changes to games after they've already been out. It bugs me when they remove specific episodes of TV shows from like Netflix or whatever. Like, I don't remember what it was. Something recently. I think it was like Diversity Day is getting removed from a bunch of streaming services from The Office. Like, that's one of the best episodes of that show, and it also teaches you how bad it is to be racist. Just because there's some like 2006 era jokes, I don't really just put a warning at the beginning. That's fine. I'm totally fine with that. But with all that said, even though I'm with you guys, this is a larger conversation, but I'm so sick of all the people on Twitter and websites and everywhere else that anytime anybody changes anything, like freak out and become incredibly annoying. Like, I can't believe they changed this. Let's boycott the game. Shut up. Either play it or don't. You probably don't even care about this game. And there's just so many of them that are clickbaiting and rage baiting and or just like hidden in their mom's basement still that want to complain about this, that it drives me crazy. I agree with them about censorship in general. But also shut up. Like that's kind of where I come from on it. But the other thing is I will always support the developers' choice in what they want from their game. It's highly unlikely though that the people who made this decision are the people who put the game out originally. If the people who put the game out originally were like, you know what, there's some stuff in there we didn't really like and we want to change it. Okay, that's fine. And I know it's the same publisher, whatever, but for people to come along 20 years later and be like, actually, we're going to remove that image or censor it. I'm like, and also third thing, the thing she's wearing is like totally, you can still see that there's a bare chest underneath that see-through shirt. Get over it. I don't know.
Yeah, like what's so wrong with letting a bad bitch slay?
That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
She was far too powerful. They had to censor her. She was looking too good, too dastardly. Her swag was too strong. They were afraid of her.
I agree. And also don't care.
Don't care.
I do care. Don't care, didn't ask. Let's move on. According to RadioTimes.com, Star Wars Battlefront 2 confirms new all-time peak. Developers throw their support behind Battlefront 3. Over the past few days, there's been an unprecedented number of players flocking to DICE Studios' Star Wars Battlefront 2017 with a new all-time peak player count. Not only that, but the developers have said they're keen to get the old crew together to do it all over again. If they were to, Radio Times gaming editor Rob Lean has a wish list of characters and maps he would want to see. If you want to jump in on the action, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Celebration Edition has had a price cut to £4.19 pounds on the PlayStation Store. A whopping 88% off and a no-brainer if you ask us. As for where all this excitement has come from, the player count first spiked on Star Wars Day, which itself had renewed interest from Andor Season 2 and the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, on top of the Fortnite and Star Wars collaboration taking place right now. With all these compounding factors on SteamDB, you can see Star Wars Battlefront 2 reached a peak of 18,635 players on May 26th. However, this is only part of the picture. Helping further fuel the hype is YouTuber Jack Frags, who has posted a slew of Battlefront 2 videos over the last few days, garnering millions of views. But as they note in their video, Jack Frags points out that the game only became available on Steam in 2021, meaning most players would have bought the game on Origin, on console, or claimed it as a free game on the Epic Games Store, which highlights just how small of a minority the Steam player base actually is for Battlefront 2. There's more here. I'm going to skip it. Brandon, Battlefront 2. I know you're not really a Star Wars guy, and by not really, I mean not at all a Star Wars guy, but did you ever give these games a shot at all?
I did play them like literally once or twice. The second one specifically. I've decided in the past couple months that I'm actually a Star Wars hater. Mm-hmm. And so anything that happens in Star Wars, specifically, I played Fortnite the other day, and I almost had like a visceral reaction that I was being forced to participate, forced, quote unquote, that I couldn't just play Fortnite. I had to play Star Wars Fortnite, and there was no escaping it. So yeah, I mean, this is an awesome... OG. That's true. That's true. You're poking holes in my argument, but yeah, I mean, clearly there's interest in this game again. There's always been interest in Star Wars, and there always will be. I'm convinced to the end of time, unfortunately. But yeah, I just think EA is going to take this new found rise in Star Wars and find a way to fuck it up somehow. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was one of the most treacherous and despicable launches of a game since fucking, the fuck, Cyberpunk, man. It was awful. It was true.
Wasn't
That's not
broken.
fair. That's not fair.
It wasn't good. Despicable, awful loot boxes, and for months and months, it
Not
was
at
in a
launch.
bad state, bro. I don't know. We're thinking of two different games, then, brother.
Which one of us is more interested in Star Wars games?
All right. I'm saying they had a rough launch. Okay.
They did.
I'm saying
That's
they had
fair.
a very rough launch.
That
okay?
part's fair.
And so now that they've honed it for years, and presumably it's not being supported very much anymore at a very minimal level, the game's kind of found a new footing. So I'm assuming in the next 5 years we'll get another Battlefront game, and I want it to succeed because I do think that these games look cool, and I was an OG Battlefront fan. I played a lot of it on PlayStation 2, the second one. So I'm a fan from back in the day, but this one did not grab me in the ways that the other one did. And I don't have anything else positive to say, so I'm just gonna slip it to one of you guys because nothing I've said has been profound or interesting.
I'm just curious how old you were when those first Battlefront games came out. That was a long time ago.
I don't know. We had it on PS2 though, so we probably got it from somebody else.
I had it on PC, and I still have the like big box that it was in, and it's like 8 discs or something, and it's probably not that big of a game now. But Dave, where do you stand on this?
I'm just kind of wondering, like, if EA and DICE wanted to make Battlefront 3, could they just do it? Because I feel like the licensing has changed. Wasn't it exclusive to EA for quite a while, and now things have gotten a little bit murky, and Ubisoft is making games, and
it's not that they don't. I mean, I don't know the actual whatever, but I would assume EA still has some sort of licensure because they just put out a Star Wars game recently. And clearly they have the license to have this game still be supported long term because it is. But what happened was they made it not exclusive. They started giving the license to other people as well.
Right. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, the appetite is there. We often talk about No Man's Sky is one of the best redemption stories in gaming, and I think Battlefront 2 is right there with it. This is a game this is not the first resurgence of this game. Like, it just will not die. And Brandon kind of mentions the launch, and I just think it's fair to point out that I don't think that was the fault of the game. I don't think that was the fault of the developer or the quality of the game. I think that was, the big issue was the loot boxes, and I don't think the developers wanted those in there. I think that was definitely pushed from somewhere else. So I'm happy to see that Battlefront has gotten so much love. It's not a game for me personally, but the quality is there and people love this game. So the Star Wars boom is not going anywhere. We're going to get more movies. We're going to get more TV shows, whether people want them or not. So I hope to see another Battlefront game because, I think there's clearly appetite out there. And, I don't think we've done too well with Battlefield games, but I think Battlefront has been fairly consistent in its kind of reception. So, hopefully EA and DICE can continue to work on these games because they're doing well, and they're doing well for a long time. So, Brandon, I need to ask a follow-up question.
Yes.
Sorry, there's a train.
How many Star Wars movies have you seen how many Star Wars movies do you think you need to see to achieve, certified hater status?
I saw 1.5, and I'm not interested in seeing anymore.
Of 9 movies, 9 mainline movies.
Didn't you fall asleep during the one you saw?
Yeah, what's it, A New Hope or something?
The first
The
one.
what's the one with Yoda? That's the one. That one's fucking boring.
There's like 4 with Yoda, or 5.
It's so boring. Although my favorite, I do have 2 favorite Star Wars characters, Max Rebo and Yoder. Because Yoder sounds like Yoda, but it's not.
What do you know about Max Rebo?
He's a blue guy.
What else do you know?
Doesn't he play in the cantina?
I just feel
That's
like
pretty good.
in order to hate on something, you have to
False.
be able to demonstrate that you have experienced enough of it. You can just not like it, but if you want to hate on something, then you have to bring the facts. And in order for you to bring the facts and objectively point out why something is bad, then you've got to have a little bit more experience than less than 10% of the source material. So
I didn't say it was bad.
you said you were a hater.
Correct.
So does that not insinuate that you think it's objectively bad?
They're not no. I'm insinuating my disdain for the thing, not that it's objectively bad. See, that I've transcended the realm of factual knowledge. Okay, I am now coming at this from a realm of just pure blind rage.
Ben,
And I will not accept this from anyone else. I am the purest level of hater. Okay, I am the purest level of hate where I don't even need facts. I don't need reason. I just have a feeling, and I follow that feeling to the end.
Well, there's a whole group of people that go by that name. Racist.
I'm a Star Wars racist, I guess.
Damn.
Dave, you were going to ask something?
I was just going to point out that I don't agree with what Benji just said. First of all,
Wait, hold on.
So
that's not
Benji-
true, Dave. Ben hates Hi-Fi Rush, and he didn't even finish it. Everyone knows that's what happened.
so if first of all, Ben is not a Hi-Fi Rush hater. He doesn't like the game, but he does not.
I didn't even say I don't like the
actively hate
game.
It doesn't. Ben, let me make my point here. And if he wanted to be a hater, he could be a certified hater because he's experienced enough of the source material to hate on it. I don't think he has to finish the game, but you know, what's the percentage here? It's more than what Brandon's experience of Star Wars.
No, listen.
I'm just saying
How
there
long
has
is
to be
Hi-Fi
a-
Rush? How long is Hi-Fi
6,
Rush?
7 hours?
Okay.
I've literally played half of that game.
Probably, yeah.
I'm the biggest hater in the world then. No, I don't. I actually liked the game that I played of it. I just didn't feel compelled to finish it. I hate everyone who talks like they played that game that I know didn't.
And that's
So-
that's a different thing.
Hold up, Dave. Checkmate. I may have not have watched the movies, okay,
Checkmate.
but I have consumed a bunch of Star Wars media. Okay, I've played Fortnite this season. Okay, I have played Battlefront 2, many hours of that.
And you liked it. You said you liked it.
I did like it a long time ago. Okay, I played a couple matches of the new Battlefront 2. Okay, I played that shitty Dark Souls clone ripoff with that ginger shit. Okay, I played a little bit of that and thought it was ass. Okay, so I've consumed enough media. Okay, and I've also been around people that like Star Wars. Okay, that's enough.
What's your favorite IP in the world, Brandon? Give me your top. Give me like one in your top 5. You don't have to say it's your favorite.
Souls, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Do you know that Souls fans are amongst the most annoying video game fans on the entire planet?
And that's okay. I would expect there to be someone of equal hate on the other side of my favorite IP because that's how it works. There's a yin and a yang to this. You guys are on the white side of it, okay? And I'm on the blackest, darkest side.
You had an opportunity to say light side and dark side in this conversation, and you didn't do it.
That's a hater. That's a hater right there.
I have no problem with you not liking Star Wars, but I do agree with Dave that you're a poser hater because you don't actually know why you don't like it. You just don't like it.
You call me what you want.
Oh, I'll call you what I want.
I thrive in the darkness.
Poot just said in the chat, my very next thought. Sounds like Brandon watching all 9 Star Wars movies in a future New Year's resolution punishment.
And punishments are looming, my friend.
Yeah.
Yep. I think you're the only one in jeopardy of... I mean, these punishments have already been decided, but...
We got to talk about that soon.
That's okay.
Yeah, we do.
Mid-year check-in.
I'm ready to take my lashings.
Which ones did you say you watched? You watched the one with Yoda in it, which is nondescript.
A New Hope,
And
the first one.
And the shitty puppet Yoda.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that
So
one.
do-
I fell asleep during
1970s
that.
Star
It was
Wars.
boring. And then I watched the one with The Force Awakens. I watched that one.
Okay.
I watched that
Maybe.
in theaters. I don't know who
That
drugged
was-
me
that
to
was
see
a
that
great
shit.
theater movie.
Brandon's first Star Wars experience in a theater was the 7th movie.
And he hates the entire series.
I wasn't impressed.
Oh, let's move on before we kick Brandon off the show. Here's an interesting one. Oh, I'm about to accidentally screw something up on our stream. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Coming from, oh, I gotta change the freaking thing. Days of Play 2025, starting on May 28th. This is from the PlayStation blog. Once again, it's official. Days of Play is back for 2025. We're kicking off the 2025 celebration on May 28th with community activities, new content coming to PlayStation Plus, and great offers on PS5 consoles, games, and accessories. Plus, we're killing your favorite loyalty program. That didn't say that. I added that last part. Days of Play is all about celebrating our players and the moments of play that make being part of the PlayStation community so special. Yada, 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 yada. PlayStation Plus, monthly games for June, bonus titles, and more. We're excited to reveal the latest PlayStation Plus content that will be available during the Days of Play celebration. It includes NBA 2K5, Alone in the Dark, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Destiny 2 The Final Shape. Bonus games include Another Crab's Treasure, Skull and Bones, Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, Grand Theft Auto 3 The Definitive Edition. The Classics catalog will be getting Mist and Riven. The game trials that are coming are Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Sid Meier's Civilization 7. There'll be some PlayStation tournaments as well, and there's also going to be some deals. This is the most interesting part of this story. Deals on PS5 console offerings include the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 bundle, available for $400. In select regions such as Europe and Asia, PlayStation 5 console, digital and standard, will be on promotion starting at $399.99 euros, and the $50 USD off the PlayStation 5 Pro console. There will also be offers for PS5 accessories and games, including, and it lists a bunch of discounts here. PlayStation Plus memberships will be discounted by 33% on a 12-month membership. Sony Pictures Core. Keep an eye out for sales on PlayStation Productions movies through the Days of Play. Excuse me. On Sony Pictures Core. Additionally, PlayStation Plus members can enjoy 10% off movies store-wide with Sony Pictures Core, as well as double discounts for limited time flash sales. And then they're also going to have a ton of games on sale for the duration of the PlayStation Celebrate Days of Play event, whatever the hell they're calling it. Dave, lots of interesting things here, some for everybody, some not. But the most interesting thing to me is the price drop that comes days later after an investor's call that says Sony is worried about rising costs. What do you think?
Yeah, the timing is definitely weird, but this has kind of become like a pretty important annual event. And I'm kind of looking forward to the summer now because we have Steam Next Fest, and we have Summer Games Fest, and we have Days of Play. So, I mean, you know, I still think the fall holiday season is kind of like the Super Bowl time of the year for game fans, but there is, you know, I think publishers in the industry have done a pretty good job of kind of making summer also an exciting time because some of us have vacation, a lot of people are off school, so I think it's a good time to kind of cash in. And you know, they've done a good job of kind of attracting people in. So I'm most curious to see the game deals because I find with sort of the regular deals that they have throughout the year, I'm kind of seeing the same stuff, and I'm seeing a lot of DLC. But the one thing I have noticed with the Days of Plays is they do seem to kind of take it to the next level. So those AAA games, those Sony first-party games, that's when you're going to see them at a really good price. So I'll definitely look to snag something when we see the full list. I guess starting tomorrow. I don't know if they've actually shown any of the discounts that are going to be had, but the other cool thing I want to point out is an extra game for the PS Plus games of the month. So NBA 2K5, Alone in the Dark, The Final Shape, I guess that's an expansion, and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Never heard of that, but if I was going to try one of these games, I'd probably look at that one. So
I think you would like that one, Dave.
Yeah, an extra game is cool. So yeah, it's an exciting time of the year. We got a lot to look forward to in the next few weeks if you're a fan of buying games cheap or seeing cool new games that'll come out in the next couple of years.
Bando.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool. Steam does stuff like this like every couple months, so I'm glad that something like this is cropping up every single year for console players as well. That's one of the big draws of stuff like Steam is there's constantly big sales going on. So to have a dedicated, go ahead, Ben.
I was just going to say, even though I agree with you, in fairness, Sony does frequent sales all throughout the year.
But like a big event, you know what I mean? Like it's on the homepage. They're announcing a specific date. Like not to say that stuff isn't on sale all the time on Steam,
Right.
but it's like an event. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's kind of cool, something you could look forward to. And Dave brings up a good point. A lot of people being off for the summer, you know, namely like younger people, people that are in school. So it's a time to look forward to maybe picking up some stuff on the low when, you know, you might not have as much money. So it doesn't really tickle my pickle at all. You know, there's nothing that I'm looking for specifically here. But yeah, I mean, maybe a good time to pick up a PlayStation or get a title you like.
Here's what I will say. I don't really care about this. That's not the part I was going to say. The part I was going to say, though, is like when they said like 33% off a PlayStation Plus membership, I'm like, I don't really need that, but I do kind of want it. And the reason is because I got hit by the, once again, I logged in to play Crash Team Racing the other day. On my PlayStation, I have it digitally because I got a code for it years ago. And I downloaded it and went to play it. My save's gone. None of my stuff is backed up. Like, I obviously have all my trophies from then, but I was like, that sucks. Now, if I get PlayStation Plus, it's not like it's going to come back, but it had me thinking about it at least, though.
Nice.
Also, I think I'm like 4 or 5 trophies away from the platinum on that game. I might be further. I don't know. And I looked through them the other day, and I was like, I'm never going to get this. It's a pretty tough platinum. CTR, that is. Dave, you said you're cool with skipping the next news story, or do you want to talk about it?
No, we can skip it.
Okay. Guys, that one was going to break the internet. I'm sorry, we're skipping it, though. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Dave, you have the least on this list, but also the most interesting to me. So we're going to start with you.
Okay. So I chose not to complain about Expedition 33 anymore this week. But I picked up a new game for my GameCube, and I'm looking forward to playing this after the show because I literally just picked it up after work, and I've never actually played this game before. But it is Mario Golf Toadstool Tour.
Yes.
So my dealer has a number of Mario sports games in his catalog right now, and this was the cheapest. But when I looked at it, he had like the All-Stars Baseball and Strikers, and I kind of looked into them, and I was intrigued by Mario Golf because apparently for a Mario sports game, Mario Toadstool Tour has like a ridiculous amount of depth, and I'm not really looking for a super in-depth experience, but it's just something that I think I can kind of get lost in, and yeah, I don't know. You kind of mentioned like, you know, logging into PSN and not being able to play CTR, so I've just been kind of having this hankering for going back to my GameCube and spending more time with it. So I'm glad I'm going to be doing it with, you know, a game I haven't played before. So a lot of the retro stuff I've been buying is stuff like I played back in the day. So every once in a while, buying a game that you have never experienced before is cool. So yeah, I'm going to be playing as Yoshi because I always play as Yoshi in these games, and Luigi. So yeah, I don't know. Did you guys either, Ben, I assume you've played this back in the day. Brandon, you're not much of a, any memories from Toadstool Tour?
No, I used to play it at my friend Tyler's house, and we would go fishing during the day because he had a pond, and then at night we would play on his GameCube. I just remember having a great time and being better than everybody else. I don't remember if that's actually true or not, but it's what's in my memory, so that's fine. Also, my wife, no matter what Mario game we're playing, plays as Yoshi, so you're in good company.
Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was thinking in my head that I feel like the Mario sports titles have kind of cooled off, and I needed to go and validate that. And I don't think it really happened. I think maybe in the Wii era there wasn't as much, but like we got a tennis game, we got a golf game, we got I don't know, like in the Switch era, we've got those games, but like I do feel like based on like what I know about the sports titles, that the GameCube might be kind of the golden area of Mario sports games, because like you had the baseball game, you had Strikers, you had Toadstool Tour, and then you had kind of the companion games with like the GBA, and then when the DS came out, there was stuff over there too. So I definitely want to check out more of the sports titles from the GameCube era, because they do seem to be kind of where that all peaked. And yeah, they haven't gotten ridiculously expensive yet, especially compared to some of the other GameCube titles out there. So maybe they'll go up in price. But the one thing that sucks about buying these games where I live is, unfortunately, sometimes all you can find is the player's choice. And when they're in Canada, you get the French and the English, so it's les choix de jouer, and it's just a little bit more ugly in my opinion. But yeah, you always want to go for just like the plain black label if you can find it, but not a big deal because I'm not planning on reselling these. I'm planning on enjoying them. So yeah.
This is a nerdy thing I'm about to say, but the interesting thing about the player's choice stuff is that they're less desirable. Like, people don't want them because they say player's choice on them. But technically, they're more rare than the original because there were less of them produced.
Interesting.
So, and that's almost, I think that's almost universally true, whether that's greatest hits on PlayStation or player's choice on Nintendo or whatever.
The value isn't consistent either. So right. I've seen in many cases where the player's choice for the GameCube games are about the same. In this case, this was about $10 cheaper on price charting than just the regular box. But yeah, I think they look cleaner. So as someone who's like collecting and not necessarily flipping them,
yeah,
I definitely want to go for what I like. But yeah, and Ed Casti mentioned Strikers. Ben and I had a funny run-in with a Mario Strikers enthusiast, and my dealer is actually selling Strikers, and you're right, it's about $85 Canadian right now, so that's, I don't know, 12 cents American, but it is amongst the more expensive Mario sports titles out there. So
yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, Derek earlier said Mario Strikers on Switch is a pale comparison to the GameCube one. I haven't played the one on Switch, but I played the one on Wii and on GameCube a lot, and the GameCube one's definitely the better one. And since everybody said the one on Switch wasn't as good as the one on Wii, even, I was like, I mean, I still like the one on Wii, don't get me wrong, but Ed says, I could swear greatest hits for PS2 kicked in after 1 million sales, so that might not be true. Well, Ed, shut up. I don't even know if it's true or not. It's just what every game dealer tells me. So I believe them, even if they're wrong. Wii Mario Strikers is good. It is good, but it's not as good as the GameCube one. And maybe that's nostalgia talking, but that's okay. Dave, I wanted to clarify one thing. When I logged in to play CTR, I was able to play it. It's just my saves were gone.
Yeah.
To clarify. Yeah, okay.
No, I understand.
Okay. Brandon, you're up next.
Hey, you know where my saves are? They're right here, buddy.
That's right. What if you lose that or it gets corrupted? Or your little brother writes over it.
This is my Hip Gear 16 megabyte memory card. It's got everything I need right here, baby. It's not in the cloud. It's not going up there. It's right here.
Unless you're throwing it up there pretty high.
Yeah.
Radek, I do have a game dealer. Actually. Brandon.
So I'm still playing more of Doom Dark Ages. There are 22 chapters in Doom Dark Ages. I'm on chapter 11, so I'm about halfway through. Still really, really enjoying it. I think that Dark Ages is kind of a perfect combo between 16 and Eternal. 16 was a game that came out in 2016, so it was a little bit clunky in a ways as far as movement goes, but it was very grounded in all ways. A more classic Doom experience. Eternal kind of upped the ante quite a bit with the movement, the double jump being significantly higher, the dashing, the constant need to do one of the multiple things, whether it's chainsaw or flame belch or frag grenade, and to constantly be switching through something. So that was a much more manic. It kind of was like an upward slope, right? It built very directly off of 2016's path, but kind of sent it through the roof. I feel like Dark Ages is kind of a step backwards, not in a bad way, but I feel like it's kind of a perfect in-between mark of the two. It's still very active, but in a completely grounded way. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that. I don't know if this is a me problem or the game problem. I've been very busy in my personal life otherwise, but I've only been able to take this game in like little chunks. So I'm somewhere between 10 and 15 hours in, probably. I've not been rushing. I've been 100%ing every level. But I've only been playing it in like a couple hour chunks, which isn't typically how I play games that I'm really enjoying. Typically, I want to like mash 5 hours out all at once. So I don't know if that speaks to the game or if anyone else who's played the game has a similar experience. It might be the game. I guess that's really what I'm asking. Maybe it's not really. Maybe the momentum isn't there, even though I'm having fun. Maybe that's kind of what I'm trying to describe. But
I booted this up last night for like an hour, because that's all the time I had before I wanted to go to bed. And I only got through the first 2 levels. I did go back and play the first one a second time because I was trying to 100% it, but I didn't, so I just wanted to move on for now. And obviously, I can't speak to whether it was, I wanted to play in long chunks or not. But when I did turn it off, I was like, man, I wish I could keep playing more of that.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 a.m. and I couldn't. But I will say this: I think Eternal is a great game, but I didn't enjoy it as much as 16. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as 16. And this game, I'm immediately feeling different about it. And I think what it really comes down to, one, I love the movement in this game. I feel like you're so much more. Usually I'm like, I want to be grounded, boots on the ground kind of guy with certain games. But with this game, I'm like, the fact that I can just rip all over the place without really thinking much about it. It reminds me of the old days of boomer shooters. Late 90s, early 2000s boomer shooters where you could just fly around at the speed of light and destroy everything in your path. So I'm really enjoying that. And the other thing that I'm enjoying is I don't feel like I'm constantly starved for ammo. I know in Eternal, there were ways to make sure you were constantly supplied on ammo and everything. Call me a bad gamer, whatever you want to do, but I constantly was out of ammo, constantly.
Right.
And maybe I will be in this game too, but in the first 2 levels so far, I'm not.
Yeah, you won't be.
Yeah, I think it's so far a lot of fun. I like some of the new mechanics. Brandon, you and I were talking before the show. I'm playing on just like the standard difficulty, not easy, not one of the harder ones, just like the one that they tell you this is standard. And I would agree the parry window is like incredibly, incredibly forgiving. But the nice thing is I think there are individual settings for all those things. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to decrease the parry window and leave the rest of it about where it is. Because I wasn't like, I won't say I was breezing through, but I wasn't having a lot of difficulty. And that's kind of where I want to be for the first 2 levels. But the one thing that I never missed a parry. And sometimes I parried without meaning to. So I think I want to bring that down a little bit. I like the fact that there's a lot of options to be able to change different dynamic things about the game. Brandon, you kind of had me worried because you talked last week about the soundtrack. You thought it wasn't as good, and maybe it won't for me as I go further. But already in the first 2 levels, I was like, yeah, this is good. This is a real good soundtrack. And I know that there may be some deficiencies amongst, maybe if I played them side by side, I'd think this isn't as good or something. But I was enjoying it, regardless of whether it was Mick Gordon or not. So,
yeah. But yeah, it's been good. So I'm about halfway through. Everything I said last week kind of stands. It probably will be my game of the year, unless Death Stranding comes out. I don't know if I'm going to get around to playing Expedition 33 or not, and that will be most people's game of the year, but nothing new to say there. I'm going to try and have it beat by next week, but I got a lot of work in the next 5 days. So that, and I was playing Master Chief Collection again. So that was a ton of fun. I was playing that with my brother. We have a lot of nostalgic memories of playing that game, specifically Halo Reach. So I would say sometime last year, I, for the first time, went through Combat Evolved 1, 2, 3, and I started ODST. That was my first time playing all of those, except for I played some of 3. So that was really cool to kind of get back on there, and I did restart a playthrough of Reach with my brother. But yeah, those games are awesome, man. So nostalgic, so nostalgic. And it was weird because I had played all of those on Game Pass, and so I downloaded it on Steam and I linked my Microsoft account, and then proceeded to wait for like 10 fucking minutes because 105 Steam achievements popped up from it being linked. And so it was just like a steady stream of like, I shit you not, it was over 100 Steam achievements that I got from how much I had played. I was like, I'm to almost 5 million XP from having done all that and having played, just multiplayer in general. So, yeah, they're really fun, man. And just simple. It takes me back to a different time. So, but it's good. It's really, really good. Finally, after many years. So
I have a lot of good memories of Halo Reach, and I think frequently about hopping into it. I mean, I have a lot of good memories of a lot of Halo games, but Halo Reach is probably like the one that, like, I was living on my own. Well, I wasn't living on my own. I was living with roommates in a duplex, and we all had like professional jobs, and we were crammed in one little room, staying up way too late playing as adults. But before I got married, so it's like this weird time in my life that, like, you don't really ever, like, I love my parents, but I don't want to go back to living with them. Right. And I love my wife and family now, and I don't want to leave that. But like, there's something you can't ever recapture about that time where you lived with just some roommates,
right,
and hung out. So, cool. I've had kind of an eccentric week, and I've got a lot of games listed here, but I've put very little time into them cumulatively. Mostly, these are all games that I've played like right before I was going to bed on the Steam Deck or whatever. But first, I'll talk about Expedition 33. I have finished Act 2 of Expedition 33. I think last week I was like right before that. That took me like a good solid extra hour or hour and a half to get through the like last fight in Act 2, actually the last two fights in Act 2, and to push through into Act 3. And then what I'll say is this, without any kind of spoilers. Once I got into Act 3, I felt less compelled to progress the story very quickly and more compelled to just like go around and see stuff I hadn't seen. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just a testament to what the game has to offer that's outside of the main story. But it was a little disappointing to me because I was like really gung-ho about seeing where the story went. And there's still plenty more to the story, but I'm like more interested in the side content than I am in the main story right now. So I'll get around to finishing that. I put a few more hours into it, but I have to be in a certain mindset to play that game. The start of Act 3 pacing is a little inconsistent pacing-wise for sure. Maybe Benji. I don't know that it's the pacing as much as just like some things I was really curious about were explained. There's still more to be curious about, but yeah, I just wanted to check out some of the stuff I hadn't done. Yeah, the companion quest in Act 3, that's where I'm at. The next thing, I mentioned Doom, as I played like an hour of that last night. I played a couple hours of a game called Gray Zone Warfare with our buddy Justin. Gray Zone Warfare is like a tactical extraction shooter. It's like a mix between all the military extraction shooters you've ever played, and I guess it's a lot like Tarkov, honestly. I've not played Tarkov, but I've watched a lot of it being played and seen a lot of comparisons. It's nothing that I feel like is too out of the ordinary for an extraction shooter. You do have a PvE mode and a PvE VP mode, which is interesting. If you're playing, you might as well play the VP mode because the map is so incredibly gigantic that you almost never run into anyone unless you're trying to, which the map actually identifies where there are conflicts happening so that you can engage in that more. I mean, you can go wherever you want. It's just that it shows where there are conflicts. It's still in early access, and they have a lot of work to do going forward. There's some stuff that's a little bit unclear and some stuff that's a little bit clunky, but overall, this is just a really, really solid military shooter extraction game. I'm enjoying it. I don't really have a lot of like nitty gritty to say about it. The shooting feels really good. The AI is pretty tough on just like whatever difficulty it is. I don't think there are difficulties. The AI is pretty tough and challenging. At times I wasn't sure if it was real people shooting at me or the AI because it was just so good. I will say sometimes like I get shot and I'm like, that was bullshit. Like I shouldn't have died there. Because it, you have to stop bleeding. You have to apply tourniquets. You have to take, apply bandages, whatever. You can get one shot in the head. So like, it's pretty brutal, but also a lot of fun. But I'll have more to talk about on that in a future episode. I played a little game called TMT Tactical Takedown. I love turn-based and I love the turtles. So this was kind of I was excited to get to check this out. Um, there's not a lot to say about this game, unfortunately. It's a turtles game that is turn-based on a grid, and you have different turtles that you control. Obviously, you got 4 of them, and you have different move sets that apply to each of them. And the maps change from time to time. The enemies change. There are identifiers that you need to take out a certain enemy before another one. There are moves that let you jump to a certain spot and damage all the enemies around you. There are changing environments and the whole 9 yards. Like everything about the game feels like it's there, like it has what it should have. But there's just something I can't quite put my finger on about this game that I'm like, meh. Like it's just a very standard turn-based Turtles game. Now, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's the first turn-based Turtles game that there has been. So, like, it's cool that it's a beloved IP in a new genre, unless I'm mistaken once again. But it just doesn't do anything for me to really push the genre forward or not. That said, I can't knock it for not being original because I don't think that was the intent with this game. It's solid in every way that it has. It just doesn't really... It's not inspiring me to like push on and keep playing the game. I mean, I'll probably will keep playing the game, but it's not like making me really want to. I'm not yearning to get back to it, as well, I'll say. And then the last thing I played this week is a game I never thought I'd check out, but it's called Coin Push RPG. And you guys know I'm really into like these stupid little management sims. I actually got sent a code for this game. And I was like, I guess I'll check it out. But this is a game with like, those arcade machines that, yeah, the ones that like slide back and forth like Dave's doing, and like you put a coin down on it and then ding, 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 and then like you want it to push it off and gain a bunch more coins.
Right.
I thought at first this was just going to be like a gambling simulator with no real payout. I mean, I guess technically there isn't a payout like in real money terms, but what this is it uses the framing of the coin push game to be or to dictate the RPG elements of it. You get different characters that you can recruit, and you can bring them in. You can equip them. You can put all sorts of different weapons or armor or whatever on them, and then you send them into the environment, which is a coin push machine, and they're stationed on one side while the enemies are come up on the other side. And essentially, they auto battle. And they auto battle to some extent, but they also are somewhat influenced by where you drop the coins can hit certain little icons that reflect the enemies. And when you damage those little icons, you also do more damage to the enemies, or you gain health or whatever. And then, of course, as you gain coins that push off the machine, just like you would in the arcade or a casino, you earn different perks, spins that get you health or get you extra damage or whatever. It's pretty cool, and it could be very idle if you wanted it to be. You just equip your characters, go into the world, you tap auto battle, and it just goes until you die. But you could also make it very manual if you prefer to do that. So it's cool. There's also a mode in there that is just like an endless or like a coin push game, just like a standard game you would get at a casino or an arcade or something. I literally just left that on overnight, a couple nights, just to rack up coins. There's, as far as I can tell, no benefit. I thought maybe like if I got a bunch of coins, it would transfer into the main game. It didn't. That was a little disappointing, but overall, like it's not a revolutionary game by any means, but it's kind of cool to have like an RPG that you are. It's cool to have like an idle game that you are also very much in control of. I'm not much of one for idle games, to be completely honest. I very much enjoy being in the mix and in the action. But I'd say as far as the genre that I've seen, it's pretty good. It's pretty good overall. And like I said, I've had a weird week, and that's the weird combination of games I've been playing. There's probably like 8 or 9 hours total in all those different games together, but there's like 6 games there, so you can kind of see how my week has been. I've just not been in the mood to play one specific thing, I think is really the situation. But that's what we got.
That's what we got.
Dave, anything else? Wait, hold on. There's a bunch of chat here. Not getting Drake songs in Duke or in Doom. Yeah, Radic, shut up. If that's what you said. I don't know if that's what you said. Um, Benji says, I miss Dave in my DMs. Dave, have you abandoned Benji as well as Expedition 33?
No. I mean, I'll talk to Benji about Toadstool Tour if he's interested, if he's an expert, if he's not a hater of Toadstool Tour, but I'm not playing Expedition 33 anymore, so I don't know. I don't know what to DM him about. You
Dave,
know what? I'm gonna DM Benji just to wish him good night.
Nice. That's a very good thing to do.
Cool.
Are you not playing it anymore at all, or just for now, do you think?
I don't know. I'm hearing what you guys are saying. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I think I'm towards the end of Act 2, and I fought, I don't care if this is a spoiler, an enemy called Visage, and I got to the end of the fight, and he did this like attack that took all of my party's HP down to 1, and then he had a second phase that in his first attack, because I hadn't seen any of the attack patterns, it took my entire team out, and that took like 25 minutes to get to that point. And I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do this fight anymore. So it's just that kind of bullshit that's turning me off, and I know that's part of this sort of game, but I think I just don't really want to play this game anymore, which is a shame, because I know I'm missing out on some pretty cool story, but I've tried, and I have attained hater certification because I've accomplished enough of the game to hate on it. But yeah,
David, that's right.
I didn't want to talk about this tonight, and I said I didn't want to subject the audience to me complaining about Expedition 33, but I've been asked, so
I did. David, so there are multiple types of enemies with that name. Is this the one with the mirror?
No, it was like all the masks.
Yeah, there's a mirror that you fight though.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah. So the little faces come out and you have to like shoot it. So like I did all that, and it took a long time, and then I died, and I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I'm turning this off. So
yeah,
I know I'm trash at the game, but sorry.
You adjusted the difficulty?
Yeah, I was playing on easy, but I'm still not. There's something I'm still missing. So I've tried. So I'm. You know what?
That's okay. You played a lot of that game.
Yeah, I'd like people to stop asking me about it.
I'm not going to stop asking you about it.
Yeah.
That's my new thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Dave about Expedition 33 as much as I can. Real quick, I think I'm the only... Oh, no, Brandon, you would check that out too. Brief thoughts on The Last of Us Season 2. And I know we're going really long here, but just very brief.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think Radek is like... You know how Radek is with PlayStation Productions, but I think he genuinely wants to know too.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I thought some of the choices that they made were interesting. I don't think I came away from it feeling as bad as some people did. I think the show and the game are very divisive in similar ways, but are different. So, I don't have nearly as many complaints about season 2 as most people do. I acknowledge that it's a different medium and there are different requirements for different mediums, and I'm fine with it. I don't think they botched anything. I think it could have been done differently and better, but at the end of the day, I still think we got a good video game adaptation, which, as I said earlier, is not something that happens often. So
I'm mostly aligned there, Brandon. I think it is nice to have something quality that's bringing more people into the medium. I think it's impossible to judge this show with our background and having played the games before. I think it's hard. Like, my wife is enjoying it, but not like super, like, I have to watch the next episode kind of enjoying it. And she's never played the games or really knows anything about them. So that is, an indicator to me that it's like okay for the average consumer. I'd say that there are some really weird choices they make. There are scenes that don't happen at all. There are people with other people that they shouldn't be with, and there are, as far as the source material, they should be for the show. I don't know, whatever. But there are times when they like explain things way later than they do in the game, or way earlier than they do in the game, which to me doesn't make sense. But also, like you said, it is a different medium, and I guess I kind of understand how that may need a different approach, but it's not one that I necessarily like. But again, I played the game before I watched the show. If I had watched the show before I played the game, maybe I'd be the other way around. I don't know. But yeah. Ed says, I, for one, love that they chose to adapt the most important part about the second game, which is splitting the fan base completely down the middle. Yeah, I think that's true. I don't think the fan base is actually as split down the middle as social media leads us to believe, such like with ratings and stuff. I do know the ratings and the numbers viewed for at least the finale for the second season were way lower than the first season. But I do have some problems with it. A fair number of problems with it. But about episode 3 to 4, I just kind of accepted that I don't think they made this game for people who love, or the show for people who love the game, which I'm kind of in the like, not love area of the game anyway. But I think it's probably doing what it's supposed to do. It's just maybe not directly meant for me. And that's okay. I'll still watch season 3. And if they make 4, do that too, whatever. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. That's it for the show. Dave, you haven't watched it, right? I'm not mistaken in that.
I've watched 1.5 episodes.
Okay.
Of the show.
Like episode 4 and 5.5 of 5, probably, of the first season.
No, just the first one and the second one. So.
That's all we got for tonight. We appreciate it. Don't forget you can support us over at patreon.com/handsomephantom for as little as $1 a month. You can also join us on Discord at handsomephantom.com/Discord. We appreciate you all. We appreciate that you're here. There are still some of you here after this long. It's a miracle, honestly. Good night.